want to talk to you about what I think are really lovely things to plant in these 4 by 4 inch holes of cinder blocks if you've got a raised cinder block bed or you're considering a raised cinder block bed. I do also want to note that I think that these outside holes tend to be on a little bit of the drier side unless you've got them banked up with mulch. And I found that since I've banked the sides of the cinder blocks up with mulch, they tend to hold more water. And something else that has helped with maintaining moisture levels in these cinder block beds is not fighting the weeds. Specifically, I've got a lot of creeping Charlie, but I think any creeping plant will have a similar effect in that the creeping Charlie growing around these beds has also helped retain a lot of the moisture. So I try not to fight it too much, and I only pull it when it starts to get into the beds and overtake plants. Now the 4 inch by 4 inch hole isn't enormous, so you do have to consider what's going to fit. I found that a lot of annuals do well and a lot of perennials do well. But originally I planted a lot of annuals in these holes, and a lot of those included basil, cilantro, parsley, sweet alyssum. I especially love sweet alyssum because my chickens think it's a delicious snack. And it's such a precious little soft flower to add to these harsh big blocks. I like the contrast of that. I've also done nasturtium. I love the cascading effect that nasturtium adds, and it softens the harshness of the blocks as well. An example of the nasturtium spilling over the harshness of the cinder blocks and softening that look, and I just think it's absolutely gorgeous and makes it really enjoyable to be in the garden when you notice it. And I feel the same way about marigolds, the way that they cascade and kind of add a little bushy element. I think that they add a really nice element too. I have found that starting seeds in these holes are a little bit harder than if you were to plant like a plant start, but it is possible. Everything that I have in mine right now are all seed started. I've also done calendula, which is a beautiful cut flower and a wonderful trap crop like the nasturtium and the marigolds, and a wonderful pest deterrent. An example of calendula growing out of that small 4 inch hole. There's actually 2 calendula plants shooting out of it. I've also been able to, in these holes, plant squash plants that trellis up. Here you can see this squash plant is growing out of that hole and all the way up this trellis. I think that that has been really wonderful to be able to use that space. So those are the annuals that I've trialed that have done well. Next year, I want to try to leverage more perennials in these smaller holes. So I've already got some salad burnet going, which I can't believe more people don't talk about it. It's such a lovely, fresh, cucumber-like herb that you can grow. You can add it to salads. It's so delicious. There's like almost no bitterness to it. It's got a crisp, fresh element. It's truly delicious, and I want to grow more of it, so I'm putting that more in the borders. I've got oregano. I'm going to try some lemon balm. Stuff that'll come back, that I don't have to worry too much about these smaller holes, and I can really focus on the bigger plantings in the central areas. Now, one thing I was worried about is planting the oregano in these smaller holes and other more aggressive herbs like lemon balm, and so far the oregano hasn't really escaped, though, you know, it could potentially. I'm not sure why it hasn't been able to escape, but I think in managing the oregano so that they don't escape the cinder block holes, I'll probably need to just pinch them harshly every once in a while and maybe pull out and divide the plants. I'll probably have to do that with any mint or lemon balm that I plant in these holes as well. The thing that I'm trying to do is I have a compact variety of lavender that I took cuttings from. And as a perennial, I hope that maybe I'll be able to put them into these cinder block holes too. The thing else that I am trialing is yarrow in the back border of one of the beds. Yarrow, I think, has a more extensive root structure, but I thought it would be cool to push the boundaries, and it would be rather lovely if it is successful. Main reasons why I want to focus on more perennials in these 4-inch squares is because I am starting to see the weeds creep in first into these 4-inch squares, and I don't want to have to weed these like this every single season. So if I just have a pretty aggressive or ground covering, ooh, look at all those ants, perennial growing, then I don't have to worry about it. I also do not worry about ants in my garden. Generally, I found that they are really, really helpful. They aerate the soil, and I don't know, I've never had any problems with them. Kind of just let the bugs do what the bugs do and plant my trap crops, etc. Something else that I want to focus on in future years that I kind of started this year is filling in these smaller holes in these cinder block beds with some smaller plants too. This is sweet alyssum that I just sprinkled seed over, and as you can see, it is starting. This was an experiment, and I'm very pleasantly surprised to see that it is going well. Here I've actually got some marigolds, I believe, getting started. I hope, or it's a weed. But I did sow marigolds here, so that's what I'm planting in these holes. I'd love to hear what you've had success with planting in these smaller holes in the comment section down below. Inspiration is a wonderful thing. All that said, this is Zone 6B Gardening. Follow for more content like this, and I will see you in the next video.